In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Vietnam's socio-economic situation improves in February. And later on, criteria for new rural areas adjusted. In a world news, Russia carries out successful test launch of intercontinental ballistic missile.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Neil today with the latest updates. The top news of the hour, Vietnam's socio-economic situation has continued to improve in February and the first 2 months of the year, according to deputies at the government meeting led by Prime Minister Phie. Notably, in the first 2 months, total import-export turnover increased by 18.6%, exports rose by over 19%, and the trade surplus exceeded $4.7 billion. State budget revenue reached 23.5% of the yearly estimate, and public investment disbursement was 2.16% higher than the same period last year. Foreign direct investment FDI attraction reached nearly $4.3 billion, or nearly 40% increase. Looking ahead, the Prime Minister has asked all units to carefully review the tasks and goals for March and the first quarter to organize their implementation effectively. Key tasks include continued interest rate reduction, urgent amendments to the decree related to gold, and implementing measures to prevent electricity and gasoline shortages for production, business, and consumption. According to the recent S&P Global report, Vietnam's manufacturing industry continued to exhibit growth as indicated by the Rising Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, in February, which reached 50.4 points. Both output and the amount of new orders increased for the second month in a row, indicating a slight growth in Vietnam's manufacturing industry. This spike in new orders led manufacturers to boost labor recruitment, pushing it to the highest level since the previous year. The report also highlighted that business confidence reached its peak in the past year, with 55% of businesses surveyed expressing optimism. Alongside public investment, the influx of foreign direct investment FDI has also played a significant role in driving growth, signaling encouraging trends. Unlike the sharp decline in registered FDI in Vietnam seen at this point in 2023, the first 2 months of this year witnessed nearly $4.3 billion flowing into the country, a 38.6% increase. Remarkably, the FDI realized in these 2 months is estimated at $2.8 billion, the highest for this period over the last 5 years.
This South Korean investor is finishing their third factory in Thanh Hoa province with an investment of $10 million. This will be their quickest project to launch, doubling the production of wiring harnesses for new South Korean car models coming mid-year.
We quickly selected a cleared site with well-coordinated transportation links from new highways to airports and seaports. Local and provincial governments have helped us accelerate investment procedures and land leasing.
There are currently 156 FDI investment projects with a total registered investment capital of more than $14.6 billion in Thanh Hoa province. Disbursed FDI capital increased sharply, primarily in major industrial hubs, aligning with integrated and well-connected infrastructure quality.
Enabling us to meet the growing demand for our products, Thanh Hoa province continues to offer policies and solutions to aid investors, focusing on expanding industrial land availability, infrastructure support, and assistance up to the project's boundaries. These measures also attract other companies within their production chain.
In the first 2 months of this year, the number of projects receiving new investment registration certificates nationwide rose by over 55% in volume and more than doubled in value compared to the same period last year. Local authorities actively assist investors in turning these promising results into reality quickly.
Remains a strong destination for foreign direct investment. This year also there's been a significant increase in Vietnam's ability to draw FDI. So going forward, I think the key thing that the government needs to focus on is to maintain its competitive advantage vis-a-vis its neighbors in terms of attracting FDI.
The global economy continues to be threatened by geopolitical instability, supply chain disruptions, and intensified competition for orders, making the competition for FDI increasingly fierce. By facilitating conditions that enable foreign investors to expedite capital disbursement, Vietnam can seize the opportunity to remain an appealing destination for FDI.
On Saturday morning, Aviation Vietnam Joint Stock Company exported 2 containers holding 32,000 jars of deep-processed bird's nests to China. This accomplishment is the result of the company's 3-year effort to standardize its technology to meet both GMP standards and the requirements of the Chinese market. Following this initial shipment, the company plans to maintain an annual export quota of 25 to 30 million jars to the Chinese market. Vietnam holds many competitive advantages, including quality and the ability to meet consumer tastes. Last year, bird's nests revenue increased by 43% due to official export products. This year, bird nest exports are projected to quickly become a billion-dollar industry, as Vietnam now has 40 registered businesses permitted to export this product to China. The 13th Vinacast Golden Cashew Rendezvous recently took place with participants from 15 countries. The event aims to address challenges in cashew cultivation, production, and processing. It served as a platform for cashew producing and processing nations to share experiences and exchange information. Consequently, businesses could devise strategies for the sustainable development of the cashew industry.
Ivory Coast is the world's largest cashew producer, with its annual output rising from 680,000 tons to 1.25 million tons. Cambodia ranks second. During the event, the Vietnam Cashew Association, VTVcas, and cashew associations from various countries discussed matters of mutual interest and outlined a sustainable, long-term development strategy for the global cashew industry.
We hope the cashew industry on the Ivory Coast continues to develop. We will call for investment from Vietnam to maintain quality and provide the best products to customers around the world.
We must point out shortcomings in order to address them and develop the sector for the benefit of all involved parties.
Numerous countries are advancing in cashew cultivation, production, and processing. Thus, to remain competitive, Vietnam requires suitable planning and policies for cashew planting and the development of processing facilities.
The Phie 3 thermal power plant has been transferred from foreign investors to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, which subsequently handed it over to Vietnam Electricity (EVN) for operation. This Build, Operate, Transfer, or BOT project was established by 3 foreign investors and has been commercially operating since early March 2004. After 20 years of safe and stable operation, it is now under the control of Vietnam Electricity. EVN will continue to manage and operate the plant. It is expected to contribute approximately 2.6 billion kilowatts per hour to the national grid. Total retail sales of goods and consumer service revenue in the first 2 months of this year exceeded $40.55 billion, marking an 8.1% increase compared to the same period last year. The General Statistics Office attributes this to a surge in consumer demands during the Lunar New Year, which took place in February this year. The tourism sector saw the most significant growth, with the revenue increasing by 36%. Notably, Hanam and Da Nang outperformed Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, almost doubling their tourism sector revenue from last year. Other regions that experienced high growth rates include Ninh Bình, Kiên Giang, and Da Nang. The technique of offering easy jobs with high salaries has often been used to trap people into forced labor. To combat such scams, Hanoi Province has been organizing job connection sessions in rural areas since the start of the year. This initiative allows workers to directly connect with recruiting businesses, find job opportunities through official channels, and acquire additional skills to avoid online employment scams.
Dũng, a resident of the countryside in Ninh Thuận Commune, Ninh Hòa Town, used to find recruitment information on social networks. However, his long-standing concerns were addressed at this job connection section.
It's good to be here. The company assured me they would provide accommodations.
Laborers in rural areas of Ninh Hòa Town can easily access recruitment information. However, some of this information, particularly phone messages, can be deceptive. Several individuals have been misled by promises of easy jobs with high salaries. As a result, local authorities have issued warnings and widely disseminated information about job connection sections.
I used to apply for jobs at such sessions. I find the information here to be accurate.
In Hanoi Province, numerous enterprises are organizing recruitment sessions to expand their operations. For instance, 11 businesses participated in a job connection event aiming to recruit over 1,300 workers.
These face-to-face sessions are useful for enterprises to interview workers in detail. They also provide an opportunity to reach workers in rural and remote areas.
While not everyone from villages who participates in job connection sessions may find employment, they can gain valuable information about recruitment needs.
Coming up next on VTV News. Criteria for new rural areas adjusted. And later on, ethnic people preserve drum and gong performance in Phie Province. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Deputy Prime Minister Chen Liu-Guang has signed a decision to amend several criteria and targets in the national set of criteria for new rural areas. That is, in response to some inadequacies observed when implementing the program in various localities. Noteworthy changes include adapting the indicator on the rate of cremation used to align with the reality of each locality and removing the criterion on the percentage of workers in key economic sectors in the area. The decision also stipulates that the standards for new and enhanced rural areas in the Northern Midlands and Mountainous region will be applied to communes of Region 2 and Region 3 in ethnic minority and mountainous areas, along with communes facing special difficulties in coastal areas and islands. Due to the effect of El Nino and climate change, various locations across Vietnam are experiencing unusual weather phenomena. More on this to follow.
A widespread cold spell has gripped the north for 8 consecutive days. The combination of continuous cold air and rain at the end of February has resulted in colder than usual temperatures. Since February 24th, the average daily temperature in Hanoi has plummeted below the extremely cold threshold of 15 degrees Celsius. On some days, it has even dropped to 12.8 degrees Celsius, almost 5 degrees lower than the average temperature for this time of year. Experts report that such a prolonged cold spell has rarely occurred in late February and early March since 1996.
In recent days, high tides and rising salinity levels have led to saltwater encroaching deeply into the inland canals and ditches of the Mekong Delta provinces via the Dien, Ho, and Vam Co Tây rivers. Areas such as the southern part of Ngũ Hiệp Islet, Cai Lệ District, Tiền Giang Province, and the Hàm Luông Tiền River intersection have seen salinity levels reaching 1.5 grams per liter in mid-February, that the salinity level on the Tiền River would reach 1 gram per liter by mid-March, and that saltwater would penetrate 52 to 56 kilometers inland. Farmers began to proactively dredge canals, repair pond liners, and prepare water storage plants.
As of March 2nd, the South has experienced hot weather for 22 consecutive days. In February, record high temperatures were recorded at monitoring stations such as Thủ Dầu Một, Nhà Bè, Vĩnh Long, Cào Lãnh, and Thổ Chu. The temperature in Biên Hòa reached an unprecedented 38 degrees Celsius, shattering a nearly 30-year-old record. The heat has been both severe and prolonged. In the first 2 months of this year, the southern region has faced a significant lack of rainfall, with no unseasonal showers at the onset of the dry season, a rarity in the south. The forecast predicts the rainfall deficiency to persist in March, with little to no rain expected. The heat is anticipated to intensify compared to February, with temperatures peaking at 34 to 37 degrees Celsius, and even reaching 37 to 39 degrees Celsius in some southeastern region.
The People's Committee of Baling District is aiming to increase green spaces in the capital city. As part of this initiative, they have started a project to grow bamboo around Chukbak Lake. The small bamboo forest has drawn numerous locals and tourists, establishing itself as a new destination in Hanoi. This effort is part of the Hanoi authorities' larger plan to refurbish public flower beds and parks throughout the city.
The mini bamboo forest is located at the corner of Trần Vũ Street near Chukbak Lake. Small paths enable people to stroll and appreciate the forest beauty. Both locals and foreign tourists expressed their excitement upon seeing the first bamboo leaves sprout.
There are very few bamboo trees in my hometown. I find the mini bamboo forest beautiful. I passed by it many times, but today I took my friends here to take photos.
I like a lot. I know it in Japan there was some. I will tell my family and friends to come here in Vietnam to Hanoi to this place.
The project to plant bamboo around Chukbak Lake began in 2023, spearheaded by the management board of the Baling District Construction Investment Project. The plan involves planting 7,500 bamboo trees in a nearly 1,000 square meter area. To withstand strong winds, the bamboo trees were planted close together. The nearby walking paths and lighting systems have been upgraded, adding to the revitalization of the street with new green space.
Before the bamboo trees were planted, street vendors sold drinks and food items. The area was dirty and full of trash. But now the area has become greener and cleaner.
Hanoi is so small that it lacks public spaces for kids, middle-aged people, and the elderly. I would recommend this place to my family and friends.
As part of Hanoi authorities' initiative on urban embellishment, urban development, and urban economy for the period of 2021 to 2025, the project of planting bamboo and renovating Chukbak Lake is nearing completion. This plan aims to transform the city by adding more green open spaces.
On Saturday morning, Vietjet Air successfully operated its first direct flight from Hanoi to Dien Bien Airport. That is the second direct flight to the province, following an established route from Ho Chi Minh City. Going forward, round-trip flights from Hanoi to Dien Bien will operate every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with a flight duration of just 50 minutes. This significantly reduces travel time compared to the 8 to 10 hours it takes by road. These direct flights are expected to boost the socio-economic development of the entire Northwest region, especially as Dien Bien Province is hosting both the National Tourism Year and the 70th anniversary of the Dien Bien Phu victory this year. As of March 1st, the ceiling price of airfares for domestic flights officially increased in accordance with Circular 34, recently issued by the Ministry of Transport. This exchange is expected to cause a rise in air ticket prices. Consequently, domestic travel agencies and consumers will need to proactively adapt to this increase.
As flight ticket prices have risen since early March, Phie suggests that booking tickets in advance is a strategy to save costs.
If I set a schedule for my family's summer vacation, I'll book tickets in advance.
Airfares constitute 65 to 70% of the package tour price for this travel business. If there's a maximum ticket price increase, the company's tour prices might escalate by 5 to 7%. Nevertheless, the business has already prepared adaptation plans.
We've been preparing plans since the fourth quarter of last year. We continuously offer consumption stimulus programs and discounts. However, we do not reduce our service quality.
According to the Vietnam Aviation Business Association, airlines need to enhance their service quality.
Airfares are increasing by an average of 3 to 6%. This allows them to improve service quality and diversify lower-priced tickets for passengers. Additionally, airlines can launch promotional packages for passengers to purchase tickets in advance.
Meeting passenger transportation needs, along with regularly improving the amenities and service quality of airlines, is necessary.
The Vietnam Aviation Business Association stated that increasing ceiling airfares should not justify airlines raising their ticket prices simultaneously. Instead, airlines should have the flexibility to create dynamic ticket pricing strategies, introduce new programs, and offer more low-cost tickets.
The ethnic Bana and Cham Roi communities in Phie province have maintained their traditional musical instruments, such as drums and gongs, for centuries. These instruments have become significant cultural assets, symbolizing the physical and mental resilience of these communities. They also use drums and gongs to express their desires for prosperity, joy, and good fortune in their everyday lives. Join us in the following report to learn more.
The twin drums, 3 gongs, 5 gongs and traditional dances of the Bana and Cham Roi people have been recognized as national intangible cultural heritage.
More than 2,000 people are gathering at this annual festival. I'm very excited and hope our traditions will be preserved and passed down through the generations.
Drums and gongs are played according to specific festivals and events. For instance, in a marriage ceremony, their sounds serve as a reminder for the couple to foster trust and honesty in their relationship. On the other hand, during the New Year festival, the resonating sounds of drums and gongs create a joyful atmosphere, infusing people with happiness.
We'll pass down the traditional performance of twin drums, 3 gongs, and 5 gongs to our children and grandchildren. We also want to attract more tourists to the area.
This year, Si Thoại village received recognition as a traditional brocade weaving village, which has increased the popularity of the local ethnic people's oldest handicraft.
Coming up next in our world news. Russia carries out successful test launch of intercontinental ballistic missile. And climate change and pollution intensify global disease threat. Now moving on to our world news, the Russian Defense Ministry announced a successful test launch of the Yars intercontinental ballistic missile on Friday. This solid fuel weapon, measuring 17.8 meters in length, can be launched from a mobile platform. The Yars is a modified version of the Topol-M missile system. Russia initiated exercises with the Yars missile system in 2009. Since then, approximately 150 Yars launchers have been operational within Russia's strategic missile force. The Yars missile can deliver multiple nuclear warheads, each able to target different objectives. With a range of exceeding 10,000 kilometers, Yars can bypass almost all enemy air defense systems. On Friday, France and Germany joined the call for an independent investigation into the deaths of dozens of Palestinians awaiting aid in the northern Gaza Strip. French Foreign Minister Stéphane Séjourné confirmed that Paris will support an independent investigation as requested by United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock demanded a full explanation from the Israeli army about how the shooting occurred. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen condemned the shootings and urged for increased joint efforts to investigate the incident. Conversely, an Israeli military spokesperson refuted claims that Israeli tanks had fired warning shots to disperse crowds around an aid convoy in Gaza. According to health authorities in Gaza, at least 112 Palestinians waiting for food aid were killed and 760 were injured as a result of the shooting. The Director General of the World Health Organization, or WHO, said on Thursday that climate emergencies, pollution, and habitat loss have exacerbated the disease burden, particularly in the Global South. During the 6th session of the United Nations Environment Assembly in Nairobi, Kenya, the WHO chief stated that humanity is suffering due to polluted air and water. That is evidenced by an increase in fatal diseases such as lung cancer, asthma, kidney stones, and cardiovascular diseases. Climate change has also expanded the reach of infectious diseases like malaria and dengue fever to new areas. The WHO Director General urged countries to combat plastic pollution and regulate the international movement of hazardous wastes. He emphasized that transforming transport system to achieve zero-emission targets is crucial to mitigating the rising burden of non-communicable diseases. In a historic surge, nearly 3,000 forest fires were documented in Brazilian Amazon this month, marking the highest February count since records began in 1999. The sharp spike in wildfires in Brazil's northernmost state of Roraima is threatening indigenous people and reigniting fears of catastrophe in the Amazon forest.
In the village of Novo Paraíso, the indigenous leader of the Tuxora Loretta community said they feared losing their cassava lands, one of the indigenous people's most important crops. One villager warned that the fires were ravaging the forest.
Our production focus is cassava to make yellow flour. Today, the fire burned everything. My main concern is the people who lost their land, because to be able to recover all of this, it takes 8 months to 1 year.
Fires in the Amazon are almost always deliberately set to improve cattle pasture or burn recently felled trees once they are dry. The fires often burn out of control and reach pristine areas of forest. But experts say El Niño, a natural and temporary warming of part of the Pacific, along with the warming of northern tropical Atlantic waters, likely contributed to the current situation.
Today, we find ourselves in this situation and ask for help because the fires are spreading more than 5 kilometers and the forest is burning. I ask for help and support because we are tired. For a week now, my people have been working day and night fighting the fire, which is not easy for us.
In just 2 months of 2024, the National Institute for Space Research identified 2,606 fires in Roraima, compared with 2,659 during all of 2023. In February alone, there were at least 2,002 outbreaks in Roraima, an all-time record.
And now let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.